Previously on I Couldn't Walk Away. Episode 5, Training a Broken Prince. Kang Do-hyun's body may have awoken, but the real battle was just beginning. Joyce Ivory Cole refused to let him stay weak. She pushed him through rehab, not with pity, but with fierce belief in his strength. When new tests revealed years of poisoning, Joyce told him the truth. They didn't keep you alive. They kept you weak. For the first time, Do-hyun chose to fight back. With Joyce by his side, he took the first step toward reclaiming his father's empire, no longer just surviving, but ready to rise. Welcome to I Couldn't Walk Away. Episode 6, War for the Empire. The war didn't start with a press release. It started in a small, windowless conference room with bad coffee. The hospital had signed off on his discharge a week earlier, with caveats: limited stress, regular checkups, no sudden changes. Do-hyun ignored the spirit of that last part, if not the letter. He sat at the head of the table, still a little thinner than his suits remembered, and leaning his cane against his chair. The fluorescent light made the faint scar at his temple more pronounced. He was in a navy suit for the first time since the bridge, the fabric hanging a bit looser than before. On his right sat Ji-hoon, tablet open, jaw tight. On his left sat Attorney Park, the family lawyer who'd been loyal to Chairman Kang before loyalty to the paycheck became fashionable. Park looked older than the last time Do-hyun remembered seeing him. More gray at his temples, deeper lines around his mouth. But his eyes were the same, sharp and calculating, like a man who'd watched too many empires rise and rot. On the table between them lay the neurologist's written report. Poisoning. Not the word used, of course. The language was clinical. Iatrogenic harm, inappropriate polypharmacy, chronic impairment due to unnecessary medications. But everyone in the room knew what it meant. They filed for an extension of your guardianship, Attorney Park said, tapping another folder. Your stepmother's counsel claims that your suicide attempt is clear evidence you are not fit to manage your own affairs. The word slid under his skin like ice. Suicide attempt. He could still feel the rail under his hands. The void waiting. The impact. They want a court to declare you mentally incompetent, Park continued, at least for another year. Possibly longer. And in that time, Ji-hoon said, she'll consolidate control, transfer assets, quietly push through amendments to the bylaws. By the time the guardian status ends, there will be nothing left to reclaim. Can we contest it? Do-hyun asked. Yes, Park said, but we must be strategic. If we accuse her directly of poisoning you without incontrovertible proof, she will sue for defamation and paint you as paranoid. We'll be back where we started, only poorer. So what do we do? He asked. We build 3 pillars, the lawyer said. He flipped open a notebook and began listing. First, competency. You will undergo an independent psychiatric evaluation. We will document recovery, cognitive, emotional, physical. Second, documentation. We quietly compile all medical evidence of inappropriate prescriptions. If necessary, we file a private complaint with the medical board about the family doctor. Third, alliances. We remind certain board members what your father's will actually says. He slid another document forward, the will they'd read after Chairman Kang's funeral, the lines that had blurred in the fog of grief. To my only son, I entrust the heart of the company. I was there when he signed it, Park said softly. No matter what your stepmother claims now, he meant for you to lead. The words settled over him. He'd been too drugged, too submerged in his own fog back then to fight. Now he could feel the anger sharpening into something usable. Ji-hoon leaned forward. We'll start with the evaluation, he said. I've already contacted a psychiatrist outside her network, someone with a reputation for being immune to pressure. And the board? Do-hyun asked. I'll reach out, Park said. Some of them still remember your father changing their lives. They're not all cowards. And the poisoning? Joyce's voice echoed in his mind. They didn't keep you alive. They kept you weak. We document quietly, Park repeated. We don't fire our biggest weapon until we're ready. Do-hyun nodded. He wanted to kick the doors of the main boardroom open right now and throw the lab report onto the glossy table, force every man who had bowed to Madame Kang to look at what they'd allowed. He wanted to scream. Instead, he forced his hand to relax on the table. Fine, he said. We do it your way. Park's shoulders eased just a little. Your father would have been proud, he said. This is how he won his own battles. Not with temper, but with timing. If he'd timed his marriage better, Do-hyun said dryly, we wouldn't be here. Park's mouth twitched. Some wars, he said, start with the wrong bride. Joyce didn't hear about the war in the conference room. She heard about it in an email. Subject: New corporate client assignment. She clicked, sipping coffee at her desk at Hanul Creative, trying not to think about how her inbox had transformed in just a few weeks. From utility bills and collection notices to meeting invites and mood board feedback. From creative director, team. We've secured a high-profile contract with Kang Group for a brand rehabilitation and public image campaign following Director Kang's hospitalization. Given the sensitivity, we need our best storyteller, our Joyce, your lead strategist on this one. Come to the main conference room at 2 p.m. to meet the client. H. She read it twice. Hey, Ivory. Min, the copywriter at the next desk, walked up to her. You see the email? Big money. Congratulations. You're officially corporate now. Joyce didn't answer. Her heart had dropped straight through her stomach and was now free-falling somewhere under the building. Joyce? Min waved a hand in front of her face. You good? You look like someone just told you BTS disbanded. She swallowed. I know him. Min blinked. Know who? Director Kang. Min's eyebrows shot up. You mean bridge guy? You never told me he was your ex. He's not my ex. What is he then? A mistake? A miracle? A man whose heartbeat I've prayed over. Complicated, she said. Min leaned in, delighted. Oh, this is going to be good. Joyce shot her a look. No, this is conflict of interest. She pushed back from the desk and marched down the hall toward the creative director's glass-walled office. He looked up as she knocked once and stepped in. Joyce, he greeted. Got my email? This is big for you. For us. I can't take this account, she said. He blinked. Come again? This is a conflict of interest, she said, nerves and conviction tangling in her chest. I was the witness on the bridge, the one who called the ambulance. I've been involved. Involved how? He asked, curiosity edging his tone. She thought about the ICU nights, the rehab sessions, the hospital garden. I visited him, she said carefully. We talked. He knows me. I know him. It's too close. The creative director steepled his fingers. All the more reason for you to do it, he said. You understand the human story here better than any of us. Kang Group came to us because they want authenticity. Your name came up because the PR firm knows you were there. She stared. They what? They know your involvement, he said. They requested you specifically. Said Director Kang trusts you. Trust? That word again. She dragged a hand over her face. I want to keep my job, she said, not get deported for accidentally leaking something. You won't, he said. We'll have strict boundaries, NDAs. What you know from before stays out of the boardroom. Here, you're a professional helping a major conglomerate reposition an heir as responsible and resilient. That's it. And if I say no? She asked. He hesitated. You're not being punished if you refuse. he said. But Hanul is a boutique agency. We can't afford to assign someone else and sideline our most relevant asset. It would look odd to the client. Odd. In other words, refusing the biggest account of the year would brand her as difficult. She thought about her visa paperwork still in progress, the way company sponsorship made the difference between staying and going home. It felt too familiar, being pulled into someone else's orbit, their needs dictating her choices. She almost said no anyway. Then she remembered the way Do-hyun had stood under that awning, hospital coat flapping in the wind, asking her to help him live. No one sees me the way you do. That's the version of me the world needs. This doesn't become my entire life, she said finally. I still get to go home at night and have nothing to do with Kang Group if I want. Of course, the director said. It's just a campaign, not a covenant. She snorted despite herself. Okay, she said. I'll lead it. Good, he smiled. 2 p.m., main conference room. Try not to look like you hate him. She walked out feeling like she'd just agreed to fight a battle on 2 fronts, with his world and with her own heart. The conference room at Hanul tried to look bigger than it was. Floor-to-ceiling windows opened onto a city cluster of glass and steel. The table gleamed. A tray of untouched pastries sat between neatly arranged bottles of sparkling water. Joyce stood at the far end with her laptop connected to the screen, heart pounding harder than it had during most of her interviews. She could feel the energy shift before the door opened. Kang Group power had a different climate. Even when they tried to move quietly, you felt them before you saw them. The door swung inward. Do-hyun walked in with the controlled stride of someone who had rehearsed standing upright. He wore a charcoal suit tailored to his recovering frame, the tie she taught him to knot properly loose enough to look effortless. The scar on his temple was mostly hidden by his hair now, but she saw it anyway. Behind him, Ji-hoon carried a tablet and the weight of a man who'd already put out 3 fires today. A PR director trailed them, all sharp frames and sharper eyes. Director Kang, the creative director said, bowing. Welcome. We're honored to have you here. Thank you, Do-hyun said, equally polite. This is Ms. Cole, he added, turning to the others. You requested her, I believe. Joyce tried to keep her face neutral as several pairs of eyes shifted to her. The PR director smiled thinly. The heroine, she said. Hard to find a better narrative than Stranger on a Bridge Saves Heir. Joyce's jaw tightened. She's also one of our strongest strategists. The creative director cut in smoothly. Not just a headline. Ji-hoon's gaze flicked between them, taking in the tension. Shall we begin? Joyce said, forcing her voice steady. She launched into the presentation. Slides flickered on the screen. Graphs of public sentiment trending downward after the bridge incident. Word clouds showing weak, unstable, tragic. Mock-ups of campaigns reframing him as resilient, transparent, committed to reform. We don't deny what happened, she said. We contextualize it. You're not the heir who tried to jump. You're the heir who faced his darkness and chose to come back stronger. She clicked to the next slide, a media rollout plan, carefully controlled interviews, a charity initiative honoring mental health, internal reforms that weren't just window dressing. We lean into honesty without wallowing, she continued. If you sound like you're asking for pity, the public will resent it. If you sound like you're taking responsibility, they'll respect it. The PR director nodded slowly. And the foreigner? She asked. Does she feature in this? The story loves her. Joyce's spine stiffened. The foreigner is not a prop, she said. If she appears, it will be as a full person with her own agency, not as the magical black woman who healed a Chaebol. The room went very quiet. Ji-hoon's mouth twitched, impressed. Do-hyun stared at her with something like gratitude and something more dangerous underneath. We will decide later how personal we want to go, he said. For now, Ms. Cole's plan is sound. He said her name like it meant more than employee. She pretended not to notice. When the meeting ended and the PR director swept out to make calls, the creative director lingered only long enough to say, "We'll send a revised deck by Friday." Then it was just the three of them. "I told you this was a conflict of interest," Joyce muttered once the door closed. "You handled it," Ji-hoon said. "You always do." She glared at him, then looked at Do-hyun. "This is weird," she said. "You know that, right?" "It's strategic," he said. "You see me the way I am. Not the broken heir. Not the miracle story. Not the puppet my stepmother prefers. That's the version of me the world needs. And the board." She hated that he was right. She hated it more that something in her was glad, that she got to help shape the narrative instead of watching from the sidelines while someone else twisted it. "Fine," she said, "but you listen to me when I tell you what's too much. You don't owe the world your trauma for free." "Deal," he said. Their eyes held a fraction too long. Ji-hoon coughed loudly. I'll go talk to PR, he said, already backing toward the door, about boundaries and wheelchairs or something." He left them alone. "This doesn't change anything," Joyce said. "It changes everything," he replied calmly. "But we can pretend, if it helps." Professional boundaries turned out to be easier to write in a contract than to maintain in practice. Campaign work bled into evenings. Just an hour of strategy turned into late-night sessions in his office with Seoul glittering behind them. His office, reclaimed from the grip of his stepmother's redecorating, overlooked the river. The same river. Different vantage point. Joyce stood by the window one night, looking out at the bridge. "So that's the view from this side," she murmured. "You hate it?" he asked from the table where they'd spread mock-ups across a polished surface. "I don't hate bridges," she said. "I hate what they almost let you do." He set down his pen. "The campaign won't work if I can't say the word," he said. "Suicide." "It's not about avoiding the word," she replied, turning. "It's about who holds it. If the tabloids say it, it's gossip. If you say it, it has to be more than shock value. It has to be an invitation." "To what?" he asked. "To stay," she said simply. He watched her, leaning one hip against the table, arms folded. Her blazer was off, draped over the back of a chair. The soft lamplight caught the curve of her neck, the shadow under her jaw. He realized he was staring. He forced himself to look back at the mock-ups. "You sound like you've thought about this a lot," he said. "I have," she said. "Not just for you." She scribbled something on a sticky note and slapped it onto his draft, taking points. He squinted at it. "You're more than what they did to you." "Cheesy," he said, but his throat tightened around the word. "True," she shot back. Another night, she stuck a note to his computer monitor without comment and walked away to take a call. Courage isn't loud, it's choosing to show up again. He stared at it for a long time, fingers hovering over the keyboard as he drafted a statement for the board. He'd always thought courage was his father standing at the head of a table, commanding obedience. Now he wondered if it was a foreign woman dragging herself to a stranger's bedside night after night, knowing she could walk away any time and choosing not to. He found her journal by accident. She'd left it on the coffee table in his office between revisions of a storyboard, then been yanked into a call with her agency. The meeting had run long. She left quickly. He hadn't meant to touch it. The leather cover was worn, edges softened by years of handling. He moved it aside to make room for a file, and the elastic band slipped. The book fell open to a dog-eared page. His eyes caught on one line, underlined twice in blue ink. "Maybe God's plan didn't skip me. Maybe it's just slower." He closed the journal immediately, guilt pricking. But the sentence stayed. He thought of her as the strong one, the anchor, the one who had it figured out enough to drag other people toward the shore. Seeing that line crack that image, she struggled too. She waited too. She questioned if she'd been forgotten too. It made the way she kept showing up even more. Holy somehow. He didn't mention it when she came back, laughing about some office email. He just slid the journal toward her with a neutral, "You left this." "Thanks," she said, tucking it into her bag. He didn't tell her that her private doubts had stitched themselves into his resolve. The first attack came a week before the scheduled board review of his guardianship status. It broke like a storm, fast, loud, and everywhere. Ji-hoon stormed into the office, tablet in hand, face pale with tightly controlled fury. "You should see this," he said, dropping the device onto the table. Headlines screamed up at them from the finance and gossip sites alike. Kang Heir unstable, say family sources. Insiders worried. Is Director Kang fit to lead? Mysterious foreign woman, influencing, recovery. One article featured a grainy photo of Joyce leaving the hospital, coffee in hand, head bowed against the wind. Joyce stared at it, stomach plummeting. "Who took that?" she whispered. "The same people who always take these," Ji-hoon said. "Whoever she's paying to follow you." He flicked to another article. According to unnamed relatives, Director Kang has become emotionally volatile and easily manipulated since his incident at the Han River. Concerned parties point to a foreign woman, identified as JC, who has been inexplicably close to him during his recovery. "Foreign influence," the article quoted. "We don't know what she wants, but it's not what's best for the company." Joyce's hands trembled. "She's going after my immigration status," she said, connecting the dots. "If I'm framed as some kind of parasite, Hanul could drop me. Immigration could question my visa. One complaint from a Chaebol lawyer, and I'm on a flight home." Do-hyun's jaw clenched so hard it hurt. "This is my fault," he said. "No," she snapped. "This is her choice. She'd have found someone to smear even if I'd never stepped foot on that bridge." "But you did," he said, "and now they're painting you as a threat to justify what she's already doing to me." He lifted his own phone. More headlines. More images. A clip of Madame Kang standing on the hospital steps, eyes glistening. "My son is very fragile," she told reporters, hands clasped. "He has a good heart, but he is not well. There are some who would take advantage." Her voice trembled just the right amount. "We must protect him, and the company my husband built." Joyce wanted to throw something. Instead, her phone buzzed. "Don't read the comments," Ji-hoon said quickly. "I'm already emailing Hanul's legal team. They knew they were taking on risk when they signed this account. They'll defend you." "From the internet?" she said bitterly. "Good luck." Her phone buzzed again. Another notification. Another. Her agency group chat lit up with messages. "Joyce, WTF is happening? Are you okay? We have a meeting in 15. HR wants to talk." She exhaled through her nose, forcing herself to focus. "Okay," she said, strategically. "This narrative works for her because it does 3 things at once." She ticked them off on her fingers. 1, undermines your competency. 2, otherizes me as a suspicious outsider. 3, paints her as a grieving mother protecting her fragile son from the big bad black woman. "That's an ugly way to put it," Ji-hoon said. "It's uglier in Korean," she muttered. Do-hyun's eyes burned. "She will not touch you," he said. "You can't promise that," Joyce said quietly. "You don't control immigration, or the internet, or Hanul's bottom line." "Then we change the story," he said. "Publicly." "Careful," Ji-hoon warned. "If you go out guns blazing now, she'll twist it. We're not ready with all our evidence." "I'm not talking about exposing the poisoning," he said. "Not yet." I'm talking about claiming my story. He looked at Joyce. You said people respect responsibility, he said. Fine. Let them see me take it. All of it. The bridge, the dark, the recovery, and let them see exactly who stood by my bed when no one else did. That puts a bigger target on her back, Ji-hoon said. Her name will be everywhere. They already smell blood. Joyce laughed once, hollow. Newsflash, she said. The target's already there. Her phone buzzed again. Relentless. She glanced down, intending to swipe the notification away to buy herself a few seconds before the next wave. The message preview froze her. Unknown number, leave Kang Do-hyun, or you'll leave Korea in a body bag. The words stared up at her, cold and precise. For a second, the office blurred. The glass walls, the neat lines of the city beyond, the campaign boards on the wall. She swallowed, the sound loud in the sudden quiet. What is it? Ji-hoon asked. She turned the screen so they could see. Color drained from Ji-hoon's face. Rage flared hot in Do-hyun's chest, so fierce it steadied him. The war for the empire had just crossed a line. It wasn't just about shares and board seats anymore. It was about bodies, lives, hers. Joyce lowered the phone slowly, pulse thundering in her ears. I guess, she said, voice too calm, someone really doesn't like our campaign. The end. Do-hyun chose to fight back, but the real war is just beginning. With his strength returning, he's ready to take what's his. But will Joyce be safe by his side as the battle for his empire escalates?
I was lost in shadows deep 어둠 속에서 I couldn't find the light I used to know 그대가 오기 전까지 너만 있으면 돼 You pull me from the dark 이제 나는 살아 When I was broken You